Alright folks, turn 18 and things are going pretty well. So we've locked down Ulm, and we can see here we just fought province defense. They didn't move to stop us, so we got to send in the troops, fight the province defense. Our Mouflon Cataphracts got a little bit caught up, and one was killed, but the rest got around the flank to kill the archers, so we lost one Mouflon Cataphract and that's it. In Strongdale, we found a whole bunch of air gems, which is fantastic. In Golan Fens, we found some pearls, a vine bow, some gold, got some unrest, but who cares? It's a swamp. Ulm is hardly damaged, but we've also found a magic site in Strongdale and in the Range of Light. So in Strongdale, we found a hidden gold mine, which is great. And in Range of Light... Where's Range of Light? Right here. We found the Druids Grave, so our first nature site. Excellent. We're starting to build up that nature income. I did not mean to do that. No, go down there. The Gigantist is still moving around to site search. Nora is site searching for death. These ladies are just researching for now. Down here, we're collapsing our armies on Ulm. Ulm's troops are down here. Got about 150 units. That should be about all of their units. I'm not sure if they're going to come try and stop me, but if they do, I think I have the troops to stop them. I've got about 50, 60 infantry, over 100 crossbows, plus a few, crossbows and archers mixed, rather, plus a few Mouflon Cataphracts. I think I can stop this army cold. They do not have much by way of infantry. Most of their army is rangers, and then with some wolf support. Wolves are going to be pretty much useless in this fight, except for kind of gumming my infantry up. And my main killing power is also crossbows, and I have more crossbows than they do. So I should be able to just wipe them out. Which means I think that I am going to get Ulm. And Ulm will of course give me death income, which is great. It'll also give me nature and astral income, which is great. And of course it's a fantastic province because it's a capital. So that will be amazing. I've assured people that I'm not interested in taking these provinces. I haven't made any open assurances about Strongbay, but I'm assuming Tianchi will get it. And that'll be fine. That's kind of my way of keeping the peace down here, even though I get the capital. And that's about all that's happening this turn. Abysia moved in to wipe out a Midgard province. They've still got Bogus's gang just standing here being assholes, staying in the way. Research-wise, we've hit construction level 4. We're now rushing to try and get alteration level 4 before the giants start to come out. I really, really want to have those guys able to cast Temper Flesh on themselves before they start to emerge. And then after that, I'll grab Thaumaturgy level 3 for Iron Will. That will give me all my basic buffs. At that point, I'm going to have to be looking for the bigger buffs. Phoenix Pyre, obviously, is one big one, and I think... what school is it in? It's not enchantment. Was it alteration? Alteration level 6 is Soul Vortex, so I'm going to be going down alteration and just alteration, actually. Yeah, they're both in alteration. So alteration is definitely going to be my big school, which is kind of what Phlegra wants for their mages anyway. I am, of course, going to have to grab some conjuration in order to have conjuration level 3 at least. And then later on, I also have the Hound of Twilight summon and the Procession of the Underworld, which gets me Lampads, which is pretty good. And I will actually have Death Gems as Late Age Phlegra, so that would be a pretty nice spell to cast. Have to be a Laestrygonian who casts it. And of course, at level 6, I can bind carries if I want to break into blood. Now, breaking into blood is an amazing idea for Late Age Phlegra, because Late Age Phlegra has Phlegran Priests, and Phlegran Priests have this Reduce Unrest 2 ability. This fires before Unrest increases. So, and it fires before income. So what happens is, or rather, it fires after Unrest increases, but before income is calculated, I believe. So, having a bunch of Phlegran Priests who are dirt cheap and I can spam out 3 at a time from my citadels, having a bunch of Phlegran Priests in a province that is being blood hunted makes that province last a lot longer, because it reduces the unrest, and so the patrollers don't have to kill as many people, and it also means the income goes up, because patrolling doesn't decrease unrest until after income is drawn, but Phlegran Priests reduce unrest before income is drawn. So breaking into carries to become a late-game minor blood nation will really, really help me, because I'll be able to blood hunt like this province, and this province, and that province, just stack them full of Phlegran priests, have my carries blood hunting them, and the Phlegran priests will keep unrest down. Now, of course, in order to do that, like I said, I have to use laced Dragonian turns to summon carries. But you summon carries by multiples. I forget how. I think it's 3. Yeah, you get 3 carries. And when you Gift of Reason them, which is, what is it? Is that Thaumaturgy? Yeah, it's Thaumaturgy 5. So when you cast Gift of Reason on them, then they become a Death 1, Blood 1 mage, and so you can use them to Blood Hunt. So that, I'm excited about that possibility. And the fact that Late Age Phlegra has access to that spell and can use it to churn out Blood Mages, albeit expensive ones. I mean, they cost 3 Death Gems and 20 Nature Gems each. So Nature is going to be really, really valuable for me. The fact that I can do that is extremely important. So, that is the turn. And I think, yeah, my plan right now is I'm just collapsing on Ulm, going to take Ulm, and then kind of will reset and see where I need to go next. And the 2 places I'm thinking of going next are Ragha and Abysia. Probably, or Pangaea, I suppose. I could also go after Pangaea. For Ragha, I'll definitely want to continue making friends with Atlantis. We're already kind of friends. For Pangaea, I'd want to make friends with Man. And for Abysia, I'd want to make friends with Midgard. And possibly Agartha, who I think is up. That should be Agartha. But in any case, we'll see what happens there in turn 19. So thanks for watching, I'll see you then. Alright, turn 19. We've had a couple of really good things happen this turn. So a messenger arrived from Ulm, basically saying... yeah, I misinterpreted, obviously, if you recall what Bloody Mary was based on the titles. The titles were randomized because Bloody Mary presumably only had a couple of paths, actually, but had really good scales. And some of those nature/earth sounding titles are actually linked as much to scales as they are to magic. So Bloody Mary got some of them, despite being a demi-lich with probably just, I don't know, death and blood. I almost don't want to guess, because I've guessed twice now, and both times it's been wrong. But in any case. So basically, Ulm is just saying, yep, I messed up, and I think you've got me. So I've got Ulm's capital at this point. This army could move in to attack me, but especially because I have another 30-some-odd troops there, and 40 troops coming in there, plus Piteous with another 50 troops. I think I'm going to be able to hold. Even if he attacks me in 2 turns, I think I'll win, and then these guys will move in right afterwards. So I think I've got him. This connection is still very odd. I don't know why this connection exists. There's no actual connection between these provinces. It's just a weird map glitch, which I am cheerfully abusing. Both of these have upgraded to castles this turn. I don't have the cash to upgrade them to citadels without cutting out my troop production. So I'm not doing that yet. But also importantly, a patch just dropped. And in that patch, they fixed the Mouflon Cataphract's resource cost. So it's now 47. That makes them a lot more useful, to be honest. Now, it doesn't... Well, let me back up. It doesn't change the situation for me as much as it could, because I took Turmoil 3, and after this change, Mouflon Cataphracts are actually recruitment capped. They're capped by recruitment points, because they cost 40 recruitment points each. You will almost always have more resources than you have recruitment points, and that's very, very much true for Phlegra, especially because you have these guys. So what it means is I can afford to churn out some Mouflon Cataphracts and also have some of my hugely resource-expensive infantry and crossbows to back them up, because they don't eat all of my resources. You can see here, like, if these guys were 62 resources, then this isn't a great example because I have almost no recruitment points here, but if these guys were 62 resources, then by recruiting 3 of them here, my resources would be down another 50 or so. And that it doesn't work quite as well. Like I said, for me, since I took Turmoil 3, it doesn't work out great. This is actually an argument in favor of taking Order on Phlegra now. Because if you have Order 3, if I had Order 3 here, then I would have like 400 recruitment points. And I could recruit 10 of them. I could be pumping out 10 of these bad boys every single turn. And 10 Mouflon Cataphracts are frightening. That is a lot of power being pushed out, and so that would make them very effective. As it is, though, since I took the scales that I took, it's actually pretty much more effective to just spam infantry I mean, when you have the recruitment points, you might as well use it up. So like I said, I'm going to have 3 Mouflon Cataphracts per turn here, plus a pile of crossbows. But down here, where I don't have many recruitment points, only 112, I'm going to just crap out infantry. And over here, once again, a few Mouflon Cataphracts and a few crossbows. As I upgrade these places to citadels, their recruitment points will go up further, and so I should be able to start getting a little bit more value out of them. This province is already resourceless. This province is going to be resourceless pretty quick. And I'm building, of course, a palisade here because this province has the hidden gold mine that gives it a ton of income, and so I'd like to maximize that income. If it weren't for that, this province would actually be a better fort site, but it's also being drawn by Ulm, and by going here, I'll basically zero out the resources there. So that'll be fine. In terms of Ulm, next turn I will have about 240 units besieging it. Got my good friend Airborne up here. And we're going to set those on attack rear, and these guys on fire archers. Yeah, so I've got my 2 mages, Weenie Jr. and Lemnos. I'm moving in my 4 communion slaves, so they are going to be buffed up to level 3, so they'll be able to drop buffs on my troops. And what I'll probably do is I'll actually mass my troops in block formation in front of the gates and have Lemnos and Weenie Jr. right behind them. And they will spam buffs onto the infantry, while the archers are still in line formation and so are less attractive targets for buffs. We've got a pretty thick stack of Ulmish troops right down here. This is about 250 units. That seems high to me. That still seems high. I don't think it's that many. I think it might be around 200, maybe more like 180 or so. Mainly rangers. They've got some Burgmeister guards, so they've got some Hoburgs down here, which include Hoburg crossbows, which are amazing units. I mean, I still already have crossbows, but Hoburg crossbows are very resource cheap, so you can spam them out by the hundreds if you can get them. We've also got this fort where they're recruiting ranges of Ulm. I don't think this is where their Hoburgs are coming from, although it might be, because Hoburgs tend to spawn in farms. So yeah, I'm really not sure. We'll see. In any case, I'm going to take Ulm, and then we'll see where we go. See where we go from there. Althaea has made a deal with me. She is buying lightning rods, which are an earth item that she can't forge. And she's paying me 8 gems each for them. She's buying 4. So she's going to pay me 8 earth gems and, more importantly, 24 nature gems, which are going to be fantastically useful. As I said last time, nature gems are excellent for Gift of Reasoning carries in the mid to late game to turn you into a blood nation. They're also, of course, excellent for forging nature items. Now, with the shrouds giving me regeneration, I don't really need many nature items for my Laestrygonians. Without the shrouds, you would need 10 nature per for rings of regeneration, or 8 nature per with the hammer, because for some reason hammers help. But that's not all that many, and especially if I can manage to secure a decent nature income, I do not need all that. This lady also needs to move out to site search for level 2 water here in Blackdale. She site searched up here and didn't find anything. I'm still moving a lot of mages around site searching. I'm site searching there. I'm moving Amrinkius down south to site search these provinces. I'm site searching with the Gigantist, of course. He'll be trolling around site searching all my sites for nature. Because I just desperately want and need that sweet nature income. So we're site searching all of the places where I'm more likely to have magic sites first, and then we'll get around to site searching the plains and such. But it is slow with only the Gigantist, but Nora and such can move around and site search for level 1 in an effort to get me there a little bit quicker. Research is good. Research is really good. 206 research points per turn. For turn 19, that is solid. I will take it. And that is going to let me hit Alteration level 4 in just a couple more turns here. There'll be 400 research points, so it's 500 research points total to get to Alteration level 4. I think I should be able to do that in 2 turns. Because this turn I'm recruiting 2 mages with a total of 16 research points up here. So that'll add 16, 21, that lady's 9, so 30, and then 40 between the shackled mages. I may actually swap one of these shackled mages for a Phlegra and Oppressor, which I think will get me there in 2 turns. Phlegra and Oppressor, and crossbows. Because I need to increase my research by 50 points in order to hit it, because I have 206 right now. If I can increase it by 45 or 50, that will do the business. Yeah, I can't swap either of these out because this guy's half done. Okay, that should do it. If it doesn't do it barely, I'll just swap one of my guys back to researching, like Demukos or Mimon or Ealmenos. I'm having Ealmenos forge a second shroud because I might as well. I'm gonna be using them, so I might as well have them. I could also use some more general gear. I could always use more storm spools, firebrands, lead shields, amulets of anti-magic, that sort of thing. The shrouds and the amulets of anti-magic compete directly for pearls, so I need more pearls. Basically, I need more of everything, except for fire. I have plenty of fire. I'm not going to be using that much fire to forge with. I don't need fire, really. The thing that would be really useful that is a fire item would be the dragon helmet, because it gives morale +5, and so that makes you incredibly brave. It also gives a lot of head protection. Unfortunately, Dragonians can't wear it because of their snake hair. The snakes get in the way. The snakes don't like being crushed under a hat, so they can't wear hats. They can only wear crowns. That being so, the only thing that I can actually wear that's effective is the Crown of Lead, which is an earth item. So that's fine. I mean, I have earth income. It's just a little bit annoying that I have all these fire gems that I can't really use. What I'll do eventually is I'll go down enchantment to Eternal Pyre and cast Eternal Pyre. Dragonians have, I've talked about this before, Dragonians have 4 fire naturally. They can forge themselves 1 fire booster, and they can forge themselves both fire boosters actually. Put them on, cast Eternal Pyre. That will give me a ton more fire income, and I'll be able to transfer that directly into pearls. So basically, this is just my emergency backup pearl stockpile right now, and then eventually I'll use it to throw down Eternal Pyre. Or, if anybody casts Eyes of God, I can use the fire-specific counterspell to destroy it and blind that mage, which is just sort of a slap in the face. Perseus is just up here patrolling around, being a dick, not really accomplishing much for me because, of course, the river that I failed to account for. What I have to do is I need to expand this way eventually, just for mobility purposes, and take these provinces. If I can take those 3 provinces, then I will have mobility, but that of course would require declaring war on Midgard and on Pangaea, which I don't really want to do. And that is Erytheia. I have found the Erytheians. So that's interesting. That indicates that the Erytheians are actually right over here. I was thinking they were up in here, but I think actually they're over here. That's man. But so Erytheia must be, like I said, somewhere along this coast, pretty close to this, because I don't think they've come all the way around, especially not with Relay being there. They might have, I guess. They might still be up here and have already built a fort way down there, but it seems pretty far. Seems pretty far to have a fort and a temple already. I would wager to guess they're one of these provinces, like right down here. Well, probably more like here or here, somewhere like that. Might be Atlantis' neighbor. So in any case, that's fine, once again, because it means that they're not, it only confirms that they're not in my lake. And my lake is what I demand to have for myself. And of course, this is the Throne of Flames right there. So that's going to be a little bit of a pain in the neck to claim. I'm going to have to get... I don't have any Holy Threes. I'm going to have to give the Gigantist one of my Rings of Water Breathing at some point and have him slowly swim over there to claim that throne. But only after I have kept him sight-searching for... I mean, seriously, sight-searching for nature is going to be like his main objective for a long time. Now, what would be hilarious would be if I could manage to scrape together the 50 nature gems to cast Mother Oak pretty quickly. That said, I doubt very much that Pangaea is going to let anybody else cast Mother Oak, because Mother Oak is like Pangaea's personal spell. If I can cast it, I'd love to. We'll see. If I'm close to 50 nature gems when I hit Alt 4, I'll consider rejiggering to just make a rush for Alt 5 and try to sneak in a cast before anybody else can, because those 10 nature gems per turn would be clutch for me. Even if I only keep them for a few turns, as long as the Mother Oak paid for itself, as long as I kept it for 5 turns, basically, I'd be more than content with it. I just doubt Pangaea's going to let that happen, to be honest. That said, Pangaea is fairly constrained at the moment. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. I have to count on that being 15, 16. They're my size. I think I can take them if I have to. If I have to take them, I can. And so, obviously, it'll be a question of whether it's Pangaea or Ragha I go after. Now, I have, if I recall correctly, a non-aggression pact with Ragha, but I don't technically have one with Pangaea. We've been cooperating to fight Ulm, but we haven't actually made a formal agreement, which is a little worrying. We'll see what's happening with that in a couple turns here as I take Ulm. josieLOL has been nothing but accommodating and peaceful, which is nice. But that still doesn't mean I trust them, because they are, after all, Pangaea, and Pangaea is untrustworthy. I'm just jealous of Pangaea because they're a really good nation. That's, I'll be honest, it's purely sick, twisted envy curdling in my heart. Which is, I think, the proper attitude for playing Phlegra, considering, you know, the Laestrygonians, the Gigantes, all that kind of stuff. So, that is going to be turn 19. I think that's all I need to do this turn. It's been a little bit of a long turn, so we'll try to speed them up in the future. But yeah, down here, getting my mages down, gonna have a little bit of magic casting power to back up my armies that the enemy may not be anticipating, and we should be able to crack Ulm and take its delicious, delicious death and nature and astral gems for ourselves. Magic resources looking okay, not terrible. 8, 11, 15. 15 gems per turn at this point is acceptable for someone who hasn't been doing a ton of really, really heavy site searching. And I've also found a couple of these hidden mine sites that have given me a lot more income and resources and stuff. So I'm fine with that. So in any case, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in turn 20. Alright, turn 20. We're doing well. We are in fact doing well. The walls of Ulm are severely damaged. Might take another turn, possibly 2 turns to break them down, but I think only 1. We've been searching for sites, haven't found any. We got the gems in trade from Ragha, and we are sending over... we're sending over 2 lightning rods, and we're forging another 2 this turn. Demukos is forging 1, and Mimon is forging another, although actually he shouldn't be. He should be researching, and we can have this guy, who we just recruited, forge the lightning rod, because he is fewer research points. So, forge a lightning rod, and that will be the end of that. Now, I've alchemized some of my fire gems in order to get more air gems, and the reason I did that is because I've been contemplating what other forging I should be doing. The Laestrygonians should be coming out sometime in the next, like, 8, 9, 10 turns, hopefully sooner than that, hopefully the next 3 or 4 turns, at which point, of course, I'll start recruiting them. And once I do that, I'll want to be churning out gear. I'll want to have gear already prepped for them. So I've already got 2 shrouds. I've got 1 storm spool, a lead shield, and a firebrand. I need more stuff. So I'm actually going to take, I think, well, no, let's leave that hammer for him. One thing that I was looking at here was I was looking at the Ice Mist Scimitar, because the Laestrygonians already have a bunch of attacks. So unlike most thugs and supercombatants, they don't necessarily need AoE attacks. And the Ice Mist Scimitar gives cold resistance. It doesn't do a ton of damage, but Laestrygonians already have a ton of strength, so they hit quite hard. So against most people, an 8 damage magical attack will work fine. It gives an attack and a defense bonus, and it has this Ice Mist effect that does armor negating cold fatigue damage. Not a lot of things are resistant to cold. This won't be effective against undead, but against anything living pretty much, Ice Mist is actually a very effective, well, effect. I mean, it inflicts significant and noticeable penalties pretty quickly. Other alternatives, of course, there's the classic Frostbrand, which also gives a little bit of cold resistance. The reason I was looking at the Ice Mist Scimitar is because it gives plus 10 cold resistance, and that 10 cold resistance would make the spell, the late game spell Frozen Heart, which is a pretty classic anti-super combatant spell, very ineffective. So if you're holding an Ice Mist Scimitar and maybe something else that gives a little bit of cold resistance, you'd be pretty safe from Frozen Heart. So that was what I was thinking about there. Other options, Frostbrands. I can't forge Firebrands yet. They're level 6, and I'm not up there yet, but I could forge Frostbrands, a little bit of cold resistance plus the small area cold effect. Sword of Swiftness. It's not armor piercing or anything, but it hits twice, and it gives a higher defense and attack bonus. And this will be 40 damage in a Laestrygonian's hands. So 40 magical slashing damage is very, very devastating. Lightning Spear gives a little bit of shock resistance, which is very valuable. I can combo that, of course, with the Storm Spools that I'm already carrying for a total of 20 shock resistance. That'll make me basically immune to lightning bolts. and largely resistant to Thunderstrike, although not immune to it. Other option, Thunder Whip. Also gives a little bit of shock resistance. Has capped damage, but also has a chain shock effect, which does armor negating damage, which is pretty cool. Overall, I think I would probably rather use the Lightning Spear, but worth thinking about. Right now, cold damage is not a huge problem for me. The only real, like nobody that I'm fighting is going to be spamming Frozen Heart at me much. Ragha, however, is definitely going to be spamming Lightning, so shock resist will be important. So I've got a Firebrand that I got from a random event that I'll give to one guy. I think I'm going to forge... I'm not sure about the Ice Mist Scimitar. I think I'm actually going to hand this hammer back to Denetheius and just forge another Storm Spool real quick. So we're going to forge another Storm Spool. We are forging the Lightning Rods, and I would honestly like to have another hammer, because I need, 3 is not quite enough. So we're going to give that to Mimon. I now have 2 Mimons. I've got Mimon and Mimon, and hilariously, they have exactly the same paths. I'm going to rename this guy Umon. There we go. We've got Mimon and Umon. Mimon is going to forge another Dwarven Hammer, which will take us down to 2 Earth Gems, so that's a little bit low. But I can alchemize if I need to. I have tons and tons of Fire Gems. I have actually quite a few Water Gems. And my Death Gem income is not too shabby at the moment. I mean, the Cave of the Pale Ones, and what else? What else am I getting Death Gems from? I'm honestly not entirely certain. The Graveyard of the Damned, that's right. So my Death Gem income is fairly healthy as well. Site search here, didn't find anything. Moving over here to site search. I've got, all told, about 250 units lined up at Ulm. And I've got my 2 Oppressor Generals. They have 4 Communion Slaves. That shows magic boost 0, and I think that's because they're not in battle, and so it's not calculating it. But they're scripted to spam Legions of Steel and Strength of Giants onto my infantry, who are going to be arranged in a block instead of a line. And the reason they're arranged in a block instead of a line is so that they become the most attractive target for those area buffs. So that my mages, Weenie Jr. and Lemnos, should spam Legions of Steel and Strength of Giants right into that blob. And under Legions of Steel, Strength of Giants, my Heelot soldiers will actually be quite scary. Because they will have Strength 14, so they'll be hitting for 20 damage, and they'll have Protection 18, because their armor will be increased. The Iron Guard, meanwhile, that guy has a never healing wound, will have Protection 21, and will be hitting for 22 damage. So at that point, the Iron Guard will be very, very comparable to Ulmish Zweihanders, except with much, much higher morale and higher defense and attack skills. So that'll be very good. I wish I had Flaming Arrows active, but I don't have a Flaming Arrows mage, and I haven't hit Enchantment 4 because I stopped short at Enchantment level 3. I'm going down to Thaumaturgy 5, but I'm thinking probably I shouldn't go all the way down to Thaumaturgy 5 first. I was going down there for Gift of Reason, which is a good reason to go down Thaumaturgy here, but I don't need it before I reach Conjuration 6 to bind carries. So Thaumaturgy 3 and then Enchantment 4, I think, is the way to go. We are going to hit Alteration level 4 in just a couple of turns. My forging is kind of getting in the way, but that's fine for now. And Ayalmanos is still here researching. He can forge... Yes, I can now forge crystal coins, so I can forge astral boosters, which will be useful. I can also, and I hadn't been thinking about this, but it's very true and very useful, I can forge a lot of penetration boosters. I can forge the Eye of the Void, and more importantly, with my Cyclops, I can forge Rune Smashers. Rune Smashers use types of gems that I actually have quite a few of right now, and they give you +2 penetration. So if I stacked an Eye of the Void and a Rune Smasher on, say, Yalmanos, and used him to cast, like, Curse of Stones, then that would make that extremely effective. There aren't a whole lot of other MR negates spells that I'm going to be using, and if you're... Communion mages get less benefit from penetration items than most mages, because if you're natively below the level that it needs to cast the spell, items give you progressively less and less of a benefit. But even so, I could potentially use those items to to buff up late game spells like Petrify or something like that require a magic resistance roll. So that's definitely something to keep in mind. Also, possibly more importantly, I can sell Rune Smashers to other people in exchange for a lot of gems that I want. Now, Nasajin seems to be kind of in trouble. He's got an army down here, but Midgard has taken several of his provinces, including at least one in his cap circle, and it's causing a lot of trouble for him. Plus, of course, he lost this province to Mr. Bogus, our friend. So, I'm going to build up some mages, maybe see if I can take out Bogus. But first, of course, neither of these places really can recruit much, because here I'm locked up on resources, and here I'm locked up on recruitment points. My recruitment points have actually dipped very slightly. I think because Unrest ticked up by 1 to 2, because Unrest for Phlegra is capped, is bottom capped at half of your dominion on your forts, I believe. It might actually be everywhere. But so, like, anywhere I have a certain amount of dominion, I also have Unrest. The Unrest in Phlegra is just starting to go away. You know, I'm slowly pushing it away from the event, the other turn where the volcano rumbled, and I lost a bunch of population and took a bunch of Unrest and gained some fire gems. So, we'll see. Overall, things are going pretty well. So, Ulm should take one more turn. This army might attack me, it might not. It might go over here to fight Tianqi. I'm actually relatively friendly with Ulm, which is weird considering that I'm taking their capital, but that's the benefit of being nice in diplomacy, really. Being nice in diplomacy is super, super useful in this game. Mountains of Mist, short on recruitment points, but lots and lots of resources, so I'm just spamming out infantry here. And I'm too short on gold to really be recruiting a lot of Mouflon Cataphracts. I've got a few being recruited back at home, but I am very much money capped right now. I mean, my upkeep cost is already close to a third of my income. I really need to take Ulm, and after that I really need to start pushing on somebody else. Like I said, probably Ragha. Once I get the Laestrygonians out, probably Ragha, and I'll go in here and take these provinces, and that will definitely help. That will help keep me ahead of the upkeep curve. So that is the plan, as it were, and we will continue on that basis. So I'll see you all in turn 21. As I move people around, I'm concentrating more forces on Strongdale, moving more units down just to make sure that Ulm doesn't get any bright ideas, and should be good. Should be a lot of fun. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in turn 21.